Okay.
Hello. This is Martha Alderson, the Plot Whisperer, and we are back for step 21. We have gone through 21 steps in how to plot a novel, memoir, or screenplay. And what my hope is that by following every step, you either can pre-plot your project, or you can use it as you're writing and you start to flounder in the middle and you need some tips. You can go to those steps and get some ideas of, ways to pop up the tension, conflict, and suspense, and use subplots and, create a lot more excitement on the page. Or you can use it, in whatever way works best for you. I am going to try to put up on my blog in the next week or so, we hope, sort of an index of all the steps, what they cover, and when I do use examples, what the book examples or the screenplay or movie examples are that I've used, so that you have a frame of reference. Because on the YouTube channel, Martha Alderson, which is for the plot series, for now with the new iPads, it's completely different than what I see on my computer. So I don't know what you see when you go to my channel. But anyway, there are now, this will be the 21st step. So just know that there are 21 steps before that start at the very beginning, have moved through the middle. Step 20, we covered the crisis, which is the highest energetic scene of the entire story so far. It's the highest in intensity in terms of the dramatic action. It's the lowest point for the character in the character emotional development plot. So although the plot planner energy line goes up, for the character, they're at the bottom. They're on their knees. They've been crushed by whatever happened at the crisis by the dramatic action, either, big external dramatic action or more benign internal dramatic action, depending on if you're writing a character-driven story or a dramatic action story. So now we're at the place where I really love the most, and it's the downward line after the crisis, before the build-up to the ultimate climax, which is the end of the book. This downward line is the threshold. This is the threshold between the middle of the story and the end of the story. This is where the character has to sort of assess, how did I get into the mess that I'm in right now? And this is the point in stories where the character has to be able to take responsibility for their actions, if it's a character-driven story. If it's a dramatic action story purely, it could be that they'll just reassess, their plans and their strategies and their allies and what they're going to do in order to prevail at the climax. But I really love this part in a story because it allows the reader to understand the part that they play in their own drama, and how so often we hit a crisis and we become victimized by it because we don't spend time in this downward action, in this downward line of self-reflection, to be able to understand, who am I in my drama? What part do I play? Not my husband, not my siblings, not my boss, not my mother, not, the economy, not my neighbors, nobody but me. Because you draw the people into your life, and the character has drawn the secondary characters into their life to act as a mirror, so that the character can see. They can see the faults in others, but they can't see it in themselves until this time of reflection in the threshold after the crisis. And then what happens is, as long as they're in the threshold, they're still in the middle portion of the story. And it takes them taking one step towards their final goal, towards trying to reach the climax of the story. That then symbolizes that they've passed from the middle into the last quarter of the story, and they now are moving into the end of the story. For lots of us in real life, we never leave the middle drama. We still surround ourselves by people that bring out the worst in us, or challenge us the most, or whatever the drama happens to be. And so we never quite get out of the middle. But in order to prevail, to be able to reach your dreams and your goals, you have to be able to see the part that you play. And I get asked all the time by writers, how long will it take me to finish the rough draft of my story? And, you know, for NaNoWriMo, or National Novel Writing Month in November, people do it in 30 days. But my standard answer is, it really depends on yourself, because the greatest antagonists to writers are themselves. They sabotage themselves by thinking they're not good enough, they don't do enough, they're not smart enough, they're never going to figure this out. Who are they to take all this time to be able to devote to their writing when they don't know if the writing is ever going to pay off? You know, the things that we say to ourselves to just crush ourselves constitute a crisis if it's bad enough and causes enough chaos and catastrophe in our lives. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, but this is just a really critical time, I think, in the hero's journey and the heroine's journey and in every person's journey. It's a time to be able to really be reformed, because the crisis is the breakdown in order for there to be a breakthrough. The character has to be pulled apart in order for them to be built back and be built back into the person that they're meant to be. Oftentimes in this downward action, they reflect on their backstory, and perhaps for the first time, the reader learns more about what was it years ago that made them change in their mind, that they will never be the person that they thought they were meant to be because their parents got a divorce, or because, you know, they broke their leg and couldn't be a cheerleader, or because, you know, whatever the backstory trauma was. They were abandoned, they were misled, they were lied to, and they can see now the dialogue that they give themselves, the internal dialogue that has kept them captive in their backstory. And then they can free themselves of that once they're conscious of it and take responsibility for themselves. And then at the end, they get to now show who they truly came here to be, and really what they, you know, what their full potential is meant to be. So this is my book, again, Blockbuster Plots, Pure and Simple. All of this is in there, not necessarily to the degree that I talk about in terms of writers here. That's sort of come by being the plot whisperer and working with thousands of writers and seeing the similarities that we all share and how we all get into each other, into our own way. So I hope you follow the other steps. I also hope that you'll go to Santa Cruz Traveling Mystery Tour to see about our great contest. You could win a free plot consultation with me just by following the steps and figuring out these iconic backgrounds that we're shooting in front of. We're trying to go to all the different cool places in Santa Cruz. This is we're in the second time in the same location just because I love this place. This is a really, really sacred, special place to me. So we did it twice just to make sure that you would find out where we are. So good luck with your writing and happy plotting.